So, I wanted to talk about ways to combat like being messed with, but also um, how self-love is the only way you're gonna ever find true love. Um, you have to love yourself before you can love anything else, or be loved by someone else. Because otherwise, it's just going to be a form of possessiveness or jealousy or some other misplaced emotion that masquerades as love. So practicing self-love is like ultimately important, and there's tons of ways to practice self-love, between grooming yourself, keeping your house clean, things that promote, make you feel better, make you feel good about yourself, art, music, whatever you're good at. But truly, if you don't have self-love for yourself, you're never going to be able to express love or even understand the bond or connection. And through true love, or close bonding with another, which will lead to true love, which isn't doesn't yeah, you don't get into that kind of a relationship for any other thing other than the companionship and the love. The moment that there's other things added that you're trying to seek out through the experience, it's not gonna ever equate to that, because you're gonna put expectations over love instead of allowing it to naturally allow itself to bloom and develop. When you actually take and nurture the relationship and enter into it naturally, um, and free yourself, because the biggest thing that ruins relationships is most people can put up a mask for like a week or a month or even 2 months or even 6 months, and play a game with you and put a mask on for you every time they see you, masking, some unresolved deep emotional scarring that the person may have, which is often projected onto you at some point after the mask drops, the veil drops. And this typically happens in a severe case of emotional trauma. The person, within a week, a month, they'll start projecting onto you expectations, trying to change you or expect things from you that are unnatural. You don't get into a relationship with someone because you want to change them and make them better. If you do that, it's bound to fail in massive proportions, because that person is going to never be happy, because they're not happy with themselves. They don't love themselves. But they're going to change you and make you better when they're not healed themselves, because all the unhealed can do is hurt. They're trapped in emotional trauma. They're going to keep trying to drag you in and keep trying to project their emotional pain onto you. The moment that you realize that and understand that, if your spouse is trying to change you, or you get in a relationship, she's going to change you and do things. You're going to do things for her, change behaviors and this and that. She doesn't love you, or he doesn't love you for who you are. You don't try to change the other person's behaviors. I mean, that person, if they're, let's use drugs and alcohol as a perfect example. If the person is using drugs and alcohol and you think you're going to get them to stop, there's your first warning sign, as far as that there's unresolved emotional trauma that person has in their past. And until they talk through that trauma and understand, because all experiential trauma is a misunderstanding or misidentification with what the situation could bring forth through proper resolution, as far as experience that it can give you and strengthen you in your virtue, in your core, your center, making you ultimately stronger. Most people don't want to deal with that, and they can't accept the fact that whatever the bad thing is, that it happened to strengthen you. Even what's going on with me, I look at it, all these motherfuckers are doing is making me stronger. I'm not holding on to it and letting it mask onto my interaction with other people, because then now I'm as bad as they are, because that's what they're doing. They're people who misunderstood life. They didn't get the point. They didn't get the plot, and they want to blame everyone for, who gives a fuck? Pain, whatever you think you've been through, you missed the plot. You fucking don't get it. You fucking missed it. Instead of using that experience to grow experientially and be a stronger, better person than you were when you started the whole thing, you fail. You're failing. You failed because you're allowing that to now make a block that's going to affect you your whole life, until you identify that clearly and you separate it and stop allowing it to bleed through. Oftentimes relationships, fights, are nothing more than a projection of a past trauma. Girlfriends and boyfriends who fight all the time, one of the people, whoever the perpetrator is, you're typically the victim is being perpetrated by something that an ex-boyfriend did, or the father did in childhood to the person, or the mother. And you're now becoming affected by something that happened in the past. That's never going to change until that person identifies the pain, talks about it, works through it, and makes sense of it. You have to compartmentalize anything in your life that you allowed to affect you. And until you compartmentalize every single thing that you think affected you, and emotionally and rationally bring it to the surface, talk about it, and come to an understanding with someone that can talk you through it and help you see how it's something that was meant to strengthen you and give you virtue. It's easy and all good to just watch this video and say, oh, I get it. You don't get it. You still have to go through and compartmentalize that so it's not creating a feedback that affects. Think of like a radio signal. When you're listening to the radio in your car, if you're AM or FM, whatever, and it goes in and out. So when you're in a radio, you're hearing the song, it's all fine and normal, and all of a sudden the signal goes out. So it's the same thing in a relationship. You could be going all along, and the song's playing beautifully, and there's a beautiful melody, and everything's natural and great. And then all of a sudden, there's some static. And then they start lashing out. The static, the melody stopped. Now all of a sudden, it's 0 to 60. They want to fight. They want to push the trauma on you that they feel, the pain. And they'll blame you for it. They'll make you think that you're the one who did it. These people don't understand. You're not well. You need to compartmentalize your pain, your trauma, and you need to talk about it and use it for your strength. Your strength, and we all have things that happen. And if we all sat here and were miserable about it, the world would fucking be ridiculous. You have to accept that things make you strong. It is what it is. You are strengthened through the things that happen. It is what it is. And in love, you'll never reach the epicenter or the pinnacle of love in a situation like that. Person will always hear static. The song might go great for half the CD, and then all of a sudden, the static will start, and that's the end of it. The war will begin until they work through and they identify that with a psychotherapist or a shaman or somebody that can help them isolate and remove that from their psyche, because they're going to continue to allow it to masquerade around and snap up at the ugliest times and cause the biggest scenes and the biggest disappointments. And the sadness is if you're trapped in a relationship like that, you're never going to experience a unified field. True love is a unified field, meaning the bringing forth of male energy and female energy, creating the whole. Humanity is male and female, and they have to be unified. It's a unified thing. We're equal. There's men aren't better, women aren't better. That's just a more us against them. It's a unified field, and the moment male and female unify equally and allow each other's energies to, masculine energy, strong, masculine, tough, headstrong, female energy, feminine energy is soft, gentle, caressing. So when those two energies come together, they meld into the perfect creation in unison, and they create a unified field. There's no such thing as a unified field theory. It's people fucking with you, letting you know there's a such thing as a unified field. It's love. True love when expressed properly between two healthy people, and that get into a relationship for the right reason. not outside external pain still affecting the experience of love. Because the moment that does it will bring the static. And that's the easiest definition and understanding to come to. So if you're in that type of a relationship, the best thing you can do is seek out a way to identify what's bothering you. Because the more you mask it, it's going to continue to be an issue, and it's going to get projected, and it's going to ruin the relationship, and you'll never experience true love. That's a give and take. You can call relationships give and take, but in reality, a true unified field, you're one. There's no such thing. Give and take in sense. When you feel that feeling, The other one doesn't have to ask. It's already done. You know each other so well that you want to do the things because it's just natural. The feeling is so good. The energy is pure. So